Hello everyone, my name is Nate. This is Throttle Only. Behind me I have a 2022 Porsche Macan. Let's check it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the looks here. We're gonna start with this beautiful hood. Just look at these four body lines that kind of direct you straight to this nice Porsche badge. I think it looks so good. The overall look of this vehicle is a very smooth looking car. So as we come on to the sides here of these Porsche headlights, these Porsche headlights have so much design and dimension to them. I absolutely love it. So if you're looking at the lateral portion of it, you're actually going to have an area that says Porsche on it. And you can actually look directly down into the headlight and there's just some empty space there, but it still looks very cool. And as you look directly into it, you are going to see that kind of iconic X figure with those daytime running headlamps. Then as you go ahead and move on down, you're going to see a good amount of venting here in the center. And this part here has some interesting kind of design to it as well. I think it looks a lot better than just leaving it flat. Another thing to note with this venting here, it does open and close depending on the demand of the engine. If we come onto the sides here, you are going to have some areas that look pretty nice. However, there is no functional venting here on the sides. This is going to have a daytime running lamp and LED, and it will be amber when the turn signals are on. And then as we come on down, you're also going to have some more parking sensors there, and then a little bit more venting. I think overall the styling in the front of this Porsche Macan looks pretty dang good. Okay, so before we move on, let's look at this key fob real quick. So it is in the shape of a car, which is pretty cool. You're going to have a Porsche logo that is going to be right up top there. You're going to also have unlock, lock, and a trunk release button there as well. And then on the back, you'll have a panic button. So looking at this angle, you can really see the black and the white really standing out on this vehicle. I think it looks really good, especially if you look at this side area here. I wish it was functional, but there's kind of no need for it to be functional because this doesn't have a high horsepower engine whatsoever. But I think it looks really good with all of these black and white accent pieces. Now looking at the side profile of the vehicle, if we start with these wheels here, they look absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love gray, especially when it is satin. And I think it goes really well with this vehicle as well, kind of shifting from white, black, and gray. And another added on bonus too, you won't see all that brake dust from braking, which is pretty nice. You do have Porsche brakes on there. They are branded there. You're gonna have 265 tires up front and 295 in the rear. So it is gonna have a staggered stance, which is pretty interesting. It's not a high horsepower car whatsoever, but the all-wheel drive system is going to be rear biased. So moving on, you are gonna have some pretty cool body lines as well. One up top, one on the bottom, and then you are gonna have this nice little fascia area here with that same texture that we saw up front. And then looking at these mirrors will fold for you. They are gonna have an LED indicator on the side and then blind spot monitoring, and that will be up here. These door handles are gonna have your proximity sensors in them, so you can just put your hand behind it and then go ahead and open it. You can do that in the front and the rear doors, which is pretty nice. And then as we come on back, no gas cap on this side, it's gonna be on your passenger side. And then here are these beautiful 295 size tires here in the rear for you. So as we move on back, you can see that the smoothness of the Porsche just continues on back. It has this nice rear slope design to it. Up top, you are gonna have an antenna in white, and then you will have a black spoiler to contrast with the white. Your third brake light is also gonna be housed up there. And as we move on down, you are gonna have a windshield wiper because of the slope design to it. If you wanna open up the trunk, there will be a button right here. And then coming on down, you are gonna have Porsche badge right there. Looks very beautiful. You're also gonna have a Macan badge just underneath that. And then we cannot skip this beautiful light bar. I absolutely love light bars, and I think this looks so good, especially with these turn signals on. I just love all of the different characteristics that it has. And it also kind of has like a 3D effect to it when you walk up to it. It's kind of pointy, pretty interesting. So now as we look straight on back at the vehicle, you can really see how well this tail lamp looks. It is going to kind of flicker on camera, but it does not do that in real life. Then as we come on further down, you are going to have a diffuser here with some more of this weird texture material that looks pretty good. And then you are going to have your chrome exhaust tips there as well. Okay, so now let's listen to this exhaust and then we'll take a look at the engine bay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood here. We'll go ahead and take a look. Something interesting to note, there are holes here for the headlights. So the headlights actually just stay right here on the vehicle. Pretty weird. All right, so now we're gonna take a closer look at the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo. You have a nice Porsche badge right there. Pretty nice looking engine cover as well. And we'll go ahead and see where that engine sits in relation to these front wheels. And there you have it. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a walk around and we'll get into some of the details on this Porsche Macan. So we'll start off with the color. So the color is just white. There's no fancy names or anything like that. This model is the Macan. There are some other models. There is the Macan TS and the GTS being the top one. So MSRP for this vehicle is $62,550. And under the hood, it's going to have a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo engine, and it also has a 7-speed dual clutch PDK automatic transmission. This is going to be all-wheel drive, and it pushes out 261 horsepower, and it also has 295 foot-pounds of torque. And it can go 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. And if you're going to track this car, it can reach a top speed of 144 miles per hour, but summer tires need to be equipped. And then lastly, this can also tow 4,409 pounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this trunk space here. We're going to use a key fob. There we go, opens right on up. Starting up top here, you are going to have a button to lock and close, or just close. You're going to have a cargo cover that's going to be up top there that you can remove if you choose to. Looking at your loading floor, you are going to have a slight lip here, just a couple of inches. There is a 12-volt power adapter back here. All 3 seats are going to fold down here in the back. It's going to be 40, 20, and 40. On the side here, you will have a pretty decent sized pocket. You can see fitting a pretty decent sized water bottle in there. Underneath, there will be a spare. You can clip it up here. And this is probably the coolest looking spare I think I've ever seen. And it'll tell you right on there, a max of 50 miles per hour. Just look at this wheel. It looks really cool. All right, so let's go ahead and fold down the seats and I'll show you how much room there is. So there aren't any buttons or tabs in the back to pull down these seats, so you'll have to just pull here and here. And then this is what it looks like with all of those seats folded down. And if you want to only fold down this middle seat, you will have to put your hand into here and push up. And then there you are. So inside the vehicle, I have a good amount of room if I adjusted the driver's seat to someone who's maybe 5'5" to 5'8". Going to the door panel here, there are some nice premium looking materials here. Aluminum door handle, some nice Bose speakers, grill on there. Kind of some soft touch material, leather on the door handle there. And then looking inside the vehicle, you are going to have a pouch here for some stuff if you want to put some items in there. This does not have a panoramic roof or sunroof or anything like that. You do have some AC controls here. There are some heated seat options back here if you would like to take advantage of those. And then you do have 2 USB Type-C charging adapters here as well. And lastly, you are going to have center cup holders / armrest that you can use. Looking at the vehicle, starting with the passenger door here, interesting enough, you will have some memory seat options here. Have not seen that in a car in a pretty long time here. You're also going to have a small storage cubby here, maybe for some change or something like that. Same really nice premium materials that we had in the back seats there. But as we enter, we are going to have a Macan badge here on the sill. Looks pretty cool. Too bad it doesn't light up. And then holy moly, look at all of these controls here we have for these beautiful black leather seats here. So these are going to have heated seats on them. And then going over some of these controls, this is going to be your back and forward, your up, down. This will actually adjust some of your thigh support here. And then these two are going to be for your bolsters. So this is going to be for your lower bolster, and then these are going to be for your upper bolsters there. And then you're also going to have lumbar support there as well. In front of the passenger side here, you're going to have this nice kind of gloss area here that is a hard plastic. There will be a locking glove box as well. And then you have this same kind of hard but a little bit soft touch material that runs along the upper part of that dash all the way towards the driver. And on the driver door panel here, you will have some memory seat options here as well. Your nice aluminum handle there, unlock and lock controls, very nice looking leather, window controls, mirror controls. You can use your lift gate here, and a decent size cubby as well. And then coming on in, Macan sill, same sort of controls here for these heated leather wrap seats. And down below you have a Porsche floor mat, rubber dead pedal, as well as some red rubber pedals as well. Okay, so now moving on to the interior of this Porsche Macan. So let's start with this center console here. It is kind of cushy. It's very small. You can lift it up and it will stay at certain areas that you put it at. There are two USB-Cs in here that you can use to charge things. I did notice though, there aren't any indentations or anything like that, so you can't really pull your cord out and put it anywhere. It's gonna sit on top of that cord. And it is a pretty small trunk space as well. You can put my phone in there at an angle and it'll fit just fine. And then you have some decently sized cup holders right here, and then a small storage area here with a cool Macan area there. So as we look at these controls here, you can see just how glary it is. However, in person, it's not too bad. You're gonna have all your AC controls up here. I just noticed there's a very weird F button here. So I have the AC and all that stuff off. I'm not sure why this F is so small. But anyway, you do have some nice textured material on here if you want to turn on fans and all that stuff. All you have to do is just click and it comes on. And then there will be a red light there to indicate that something is on. More AC stuff down here, heated seats for the passenger and the driver. You can see on both sides there. There's a sport mode there, off-road mode, hill descent, traction off, lane keep, and then your auto engine off button there as well. Then as we move on up, so this is going to be the Porsche infotainment screen. It looks pretty nice. You're going to have your time there, some personalization stuff, some media, your navigation, Apple CarPlay, and then on the side here, you're also going to have another menu that toggles. So if I go on down to navigation, obviously it's going to be navigation, pretty simple. There's going to be media as well. So this is going to have Sirius XM, regular radio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of your phone controls there as well. And then you can kind of go into some of the car details. It's not going to be too detailed, however. So you just have park assist. If you click vehicle, then you just have some of the items with the vehicle. Displays, kind of the same thing there. Not too detailed whatsoever. The standard system, just kind of all the boring stuff with any infotainment. And then as far as apps, you can look at weather, parking, restaurants, news, online Google search, gas station, hotels, and then Apple CarPlay is what I'm currently using. You can look at your sound and adjust that how you would like. The tone, Bose system, volume, different devices, and then just some of the other settings there. All right, looking at the steering wheel here, you're going to have the Porsche logo right there in the center. This steering wheel is pretty hard feeling, and it's also pretty thin as well. You're going to have some media controls here on this side, and you'll also have the ability to switch from auto drive to manual right there. And then using this button right here, you'll be able to control this digital portion of the instrument cluster, which is right here. So if I were to push this button right there, then now it switches onto that. And then using this scroll wheel here, it will also change what is visible there as well. There is not too much available. And then you do have some digital bits there as well, with time and temperature down here, and then your miles per hour here, as well as RPMs and all of that good stuff. So now also with this steering wheel, it's interesting, you have these pieces here that flow all the way through, and if you look closely you can see that this also goes all the way through to the back there. This will also have some paddle shifters there and there. And this will have rear wiper controls as well. And your cruise control stalk is going to be right here. This does not have radar cruise. On the side here, you're going to have all of your light control buttons. And then to turn on the vehicle on and off, you'll go ahead and click this here. This is supposed to be like a simulation key fob. So you can go ahead and turn it that way and it'll turn off the vehicle. This is not my key fob. The key fob is actually sitting right there on the dash. So with the foot on the brake, go ahead and turn this, and there you are. Very interesting, and it is on the left side there. Okay, so we are in the Porsche Macan now. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with a 0 to 60 in sport mode. There it is. So it's claimed to be 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. I did get a little bit faster on draggy. I got 5.7. That was with launch control. But honestly, I don't really care. This is not the Macan GTS. It's not the Macan S or the T. So it's going to have a pretty low power engine. And honestly, this car is really just meant to be comfortable. And you still have that really amazing Porsche shell, those amazing looking headlights, as well as those tail lamps. They look absolutely gorgeous. You still have all your creature comforts and stuff like that in this vehicle. Very premium materials throughout. The seats are comfortable. You know, you can adjust all your bolsters and stuff like that. They do have that one-sided digital instrument cluster, which I find is a little weird. I would prefer to have a fully digital instrument gauge cluster. You know, even like Hyundai and Kia and stuff like that, they are doing that, and I think it seems a little bit better to me. However, I do understand that Porsche is trying to stay closer to its roots. That's fine. So, I mean, other than that, this car gets a lot of attention. It does have some pretty mean road presence. You have a giant Porsche logo on the back there, spelling it right out for you, what it is. So, I mean, if you like that kind of thing and you like that kind of attention, you will for sure enjoy this. However, I do have a gripe. I really wish that this had the radar cruise control. I am a sucker for that. I just think it's way too comfortable to not have in it. Another 0 to 60. So that time I wasn't in sport mode at all, and it seems still pretty quick. I can't really feel the difference between being in sport mode and not. But regardless, it's a nice smooth ease on up to 60 miles per hour. I don't think you'll have any issues merging onto freeways or passing people or anything like that. 6 seconds is a very decent time. So nothing really to be worried about there. So another complaint I have is the Apple CarPlay in this. It works really well. However, there's a pretty giant infotainment screen here, and for some reason the Apple CarPlay only covers 3/4 maybe of the screen, and then the rest is an arbitrary empty space. I don't know why they do that. But other than that, I really love this Porsche. I wish I could drive some of their standard like sports cars and stuff like that. I'm sure they would be, you know, more geared towards track and things like that. But overall, this vehicle is very smooth, very comfortable. And I think that if you can afford one of these, first off, good for you. And secondly, I don't think you'll be disappointed whatsoever. Just make sure that you get the options that you want, because a lot of the times certain features that are missing, you can option them. Unless, of course, you're buying it used and then you're kind of stuck with what you have. But anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this video. Hopefully you found some sort of value from it. If you did, consider subscribing, consider leaving a like. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.